Ladies and gentlemen, this is an article that came out in the New York Post January 7th, 2019. Weatherman fired for allegedly using racial slur on air. Racism is worse than a contagious disease. And when you're that filled with hate, you're going to always be reckless. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember sitting in class and on jobs, and someone would slip up and use the N word because these folks are reckless. And see, you're going to always reveal who you are at the end of the day, period. But let's get into this article that came out in the New York Post. Chief meteorologist at an NBC station in Rochester was fired on Monday for allegedly using a racial slur during a live broadcast. Jeremy Capel of WHEC TV was describing a photo showing Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park when he allegedly uttered the offensive phrase. Martin Luther King Jr. No, see, this is how they talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, ladies and gentlemen, because contrary to what they're trying to tell you, these folks did not like Dr. Martin Luther King. All you got to do is pull up the old footage of him and see how he was treated out in the streets, especially during those marches. They hated this man. This is why he was assassinated. They hated everything about him, but they tried to use the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. name to us because they think they're shaming Black people. You could never shame me in a million years. Okay, let's just get that straight. Number two, it is an abomination for them to think they can use this man's name, and the person that assassinated Dr. Martin Luther King looked just like them. If you were so in love with this man, why did you kill him? Again, ladies and gentlemen, forget about what comes from these people. Go look at the old footage of what their clansesters did when Dr. Martin Luther King was walking the streets. And I got that from Nyla Says. But let's get back into this. Video from Friday evening broadcast went viral over the weekend and amassed more than 100,000 views. Capel has been trying his best to do damage control. You can't. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, he has said it that way many times in his life. It just slipped out on the air. Okay. Referring to the incident as a verbal slip. No, the incident was something you have been saying all along about Dr. Martin Luther King. And at that moment, you forgot where you were and you let those words slip out. But you meant every word. Much like one that ESPN, Mike Greenberg, had in 2010, though he was allowed to keep his job. Exact same flub, Capel tweeted on Monday. And like Mike, I feel terrible for anyone who may have been offended by my unintentional bubbly. No, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the way they talk about us behind the scenes always comes out eventually. They're not that good in hiding it. Trust me, they're not good at it at all. They're not good at it at all. You know, and if they don't show it verbally, they always show their disdain for us through action. Just watch the actions from that person. The Purdue grad claimed to have never uttered those words. He's lying in his life, lying. But NBC didn't care. It gave him the boot following an internal investigation. As a result of that, broadcast meteorologist Jeremy Capel is no longer with NBC 10. Okay. Um, and the station's vice president and general manager, Richard A. Reingold, those words have no place at News 10 NBC air, and the fact that we broadcast them disheartens and disgusts me. That it was not caught immediately is inexcusable. I regret that we did not immediately interrupt our broadcast and apologize on the spot. No, you regret that you didn't get to edit the thing out and act like the man never said it in the first place. Local residents and activists have been calling for Capel's termination, as was Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren, who was Black. It is beyond unacceptable that this occurred, she seethed in a statement Sunday. There must be consequences for the news personality involved and also for management team that failed to immediately apologize and address the slur. According to his LinkedIn account, Capel worked at television stations in Texas, Mississippi, Kansas, and Kentucky. Prior to arriving in New York, the Rochester Association of Black Journalists called the alleged language completely unacceptable and contrary to all standards of broadcasting. While we were aware that the station has issued an apology, we expect a complete explanation of what happened, who was responsible, and why nothing was said immediately after the Friday broadcast, wrote Group President Richard McCullough in a statement. We also want to know what measures will be taken to prevent incidents like this from occurring in the future. Capel wound up issuing a video apology on Monday night, along with a former explanation. All those offended, no, you did offend. You know, it ain't no if I offend. No, you did offend. You did. And y'all with those apologies, y'all need to go to hell with that mess. We know what you do, and we know what you're doing all along. You act like if you issue these non-apologetic apologies, where you're really just babbling a bunch of nonsense, you're not apologizing at all, and you think we don't notice that. You think we don't notice that. This is why I will never accept your apology, because it's not a real one. And even if you do, you don't mean none of it. What good is an apology if you're going to go right back to doing the same thing? Then you didn't mean it. It's hollow. It's empty. It means nothing. Who the hell wants that? Nobody wants it. And sometimes I wish you would keep this babbling nonsense to yourself. Who is it helping? You? What is that, therapy? For you to babble up a whole bunch of nonsense and then claim it's an apology? Get out of here with that mess already. What happened on Friday, to me, it's a simple misunderstanding. No, we don't misunderstand racial slurs. If you watch me regularly, you know that I tend to contain a lot of information in my weathercast. I'm not reading his babbling nonsense, y'all. You can come out. I'll leave the link to the article in the description box. You can read it yourself. I'm not going to read his statement at all, because it just looking through this, it's just a bunch of babbling nonsense. It really is. And then I hate when they say things like, if I did hurt you in any way. What do you mean if? You used a racial slur. You know, just come out and say you're sorry. All it is, if I offended, if I did this, if I that's oh my God, that is so stupid. You lost your damn job. You lost your job. Obviously, it was offensive. There should be no if in your apology. No, I'm not going to read those hollow words because they have no meaning. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.